leaders have a hard time getting their employees to speak up in the same way that a parent has a hard time getting their teenagers to open up to them. And I'll explain why that is. And it has to do with an internal conflict that they don't realize is very visible to everyone around them. On one hand, you value openness and transparency, and as an organizational leader, you're aware that getting people to express differences of opinion has tremendous benefits to the organization as a whole. It's going to lead to better decision making, and it's also going to foster creativity and innovation. At the same time, you're also conflicted because you are likely very attached to maintaining your power and authority. And so what's happening is explicitly you're communicating that you want people to open up to you and you want them to express their views. Implicitly, you're communicating, you better not test my authority, you better not test my power. You're communicating those two things, not realizing that is on blast, and everyone can read that and everyone can sense that. And so you're sending out these blanket invitations, casting a wide net in the meeting, like, hey, if anyone has anything to say it. And if you don't, you're lost, right? And what happens is people can sense that it's really not safe to communicate with you, because they know when looking at the way that you manage these values, you have these conflicting values or commitments. If you have to choose one or the other, you're going to choose power and authority. Just like most parents, when given the choice, if I have to choose your honesty over my power and authority, a lot of parents choose their power and authority. When thinking about how you overcome this hurdle, a lot of leaders, just like parents, ask the wrong question. They ask, well, Tamara, what are you saying? Are you saying that I have to give up my power and authority, that I have to lower myself, I have to reduce myself to my subordinates level? So now you're making this about you. Okay, so I want you to step back for a second and gain some perspective. This isn't about you and your power and authority. This is about the organization. I want you to consider what it's costing you, what your employees' silence is costing you in terms of safety, liability, creativity, innovation. What is it costing you in terms of profits? Bottom line, same thing if you're a parent. Your children's silence is costing them and you something. What is that? What could that be? Don't make it about you. Make it about the unit. This is where we need to start adopting a systems perspective, a systems view. What is this costing the organization? This pattern of silence. Now, when we look at it from that perspective, I'm going to veer away from the parenting advice. I'm going to stick to the leadership advice. And here's what I'll offer. Don't place the onus on your employees to speak up. A much more effective strategy is to invite them by letting them know you are paying attention to the work they do, and you see how their work is connected to the organization as a whole and to the mission. And so, for example, I'll give you an example. Instead of saying here's the strategy, here's what we're going to do. If anyone has any issue with it, let me know. What's that? That's not inviting at all. That's akin to come at me, bro. Don't do that. A much more effective approach could be like, hey, Susan, given what you and your team are working on, how might that impact this initiative? Hey, Tom, do you foresee any obstacles given the 6 things you have going on? This is how you foster the psychological safety that you are trying to create. And this is how you do it without sacrificing your authority. And this is actually what leadership is about. Leadership is not synonymous with power and authority, but if status is important to you, this is actually how you bolster your status. This is how you gain respect and trust. So just something to consider if you struggle with your team members not speaking up in meetings.